I don't want government death squads walking through the streets. Like, I wish this was a little bit more precise as to what I'm allowing if I press accept. Like, we don't want people walking through the streets and go, hey, stole an apple. Like, that's not something we want. And we don't want anyone to go like, respect my authority, and just murder people. Welcome back, everybody, to the third episode of We the Revolution. Now, in the last episode, we did solve the mystery. Well, we didn't really solve it, but we did let a guy go, because at least we had reasonable doubt to what happened to him. And now we also have this guy who's now watching our fingers as we make our decisions. And the king just fled Paris. Let's look at this new case here. Compiled by Raphael Chalopin, sorry. This man is accused of fraud, price speculation, and bribery. In the dock is Lucien Blanichon, a resident of the section de Gravilliers, Rue Meslay. Citizen Blanchon owns several grocery stores. We have received multiple complaints regarding his unfair trading practices, such as selling spoiled fruit, price speculation, and the violation of legal price limits. Mr. Blanchot has denied all these accusations, but my investigation at his stores revealed at least some of the complaints to be justified. He claims that the prices were inflated due to employee mistakes and that spoiled produce was about to be disposed of on the day of the inspection. It must be noted that when the inspector pointed out his transgression, Blanchot scolded his employees and readily set about restoring order at his stall. Lucien Blanchot, a young merchant and staunch supporter of the Jacobins, he has connections with Marat and Robespierre. We just learned that Robespierre is the leader of the revolution. Or so he claims. So far, he has managed to get away with all his shady dealings, so there may be some truth to this boasting. What is number one? He sold me rotten apple. He put some fresh ones on top so I wouldn't notice. My husband couldn't stop retching for 2 days after eating celery he bought from this swindler. Now, the first one, if that is true, that is definitely fraud, right? If he did put the fresh ones on top so you wouldn't see it. With the celery, I have to say, either the husband could have seen that it's rotten, or it wasn't visible, in which case he also didn't know it. So that's we gotta be careful there. Okay, we have the customer complaints. That's accusation. We have legal price limits. That is extenuating accusation. Oh, no! Please introduce you. No, I don't want to talk to you yet. Occupation: currently a merchant, also temporarily a prisoner. He's then accused of price speculations, breaking legal price limits, and selling produce unfit for consumption. Is that all? I asked the court to add deliberate poisoning of Parisian citizens to the list of charges. Poisoning? Stale vegetables never killed anyone. So admit to the other charges. I'm an honest entrepreneur, and my business will not be harmed by such allegations. We need to find more questions, though. Okay, it's actually an accusation because they're saying he's over it. What? Oh, it's evidence? Ooh. This is accusation. Rotten apples. Counter-revolution, extenuating circumstances. No, it's evidence on accusation. It's not his. He might be the rotten apple in the bunch, but that doesn't mean it's his personality. I don't think that's counter-revolution. But we only have one mistake to go, so I want to do the other first. The defendant's connections. Next gonna be circumstances. What? Oh, that's his personality then? Phew. Oh my god. But it has to be counter-revolution since it's the last one. We hit everything. This is gonna be an extenuating circumstance. We got all the questions, but that was close. That was a close one. Phew. That was... I did not do well there, I admit. You admit to selling spoiled produce. That has already been established by the inspectors. There's no need to go over the matter again. Answer the question. Yes and no. Yes, because I admit that such things have been reported at my stalls. No, because it was not my fault. Whose fault was it then? I cannot be held accountable for nature, not creating all apples equal. Apples are not citizens of France. But you are the owner of the business, and you can be held accountable for the produce that you sell. I've never forced anyone to buy anything from me. So your customers consciously purchased spoiled food. They will buy carrots as black as coal if you lower the price by a few francs, but they still expect them to taste as though they were fresh out of the ground. He's insulting the people! Throw the scoundrel in chains! You don't know the produce made your customers sick. If anyone can prove that my produce was at fault, I will gladly cover the cost of their treatment or their funeral. They need only come forward. Try eating that mug yourself and you'll have your evidence. I remind you that witness testimony will be taken into account. It was selling people shit, not food. Testimonies of jaundiced people who will do anything to hamper a wealthier man's work were the evidence indeed. Yeah, that's a bad excuse, man. With regard to your violation of legal price limits. Before Monsieur le Judge asks, let me make one thing clear. Legal price limits were never deliberately broken at my stalls. I find such accusations to be malicious and vile. Objections, you only corrected the prices upon the arrival of the inspectors. It deserves to rot in prison. The inspectors imposed a substantial fine on me that I paid without delay. I have already suffered the consequences of my negligence. A fine won't stop him from peddling rotten tomatoes. These employees are rather prone to making mistakes. I would do everything myself if I could, but that is impossible. There was no one in Paris competent enough. Do you think so little of your fellow citizens? Well, most people are dolts. The very fact that I must defend myself in court attests to that. Did the defendant offer adequate instructions to his subordinates? On a chain of grocery stores, not a Paris school for the dim-witted. He is insulting us. Could you explain why there have been complaints about your business over the years, and yet this is the first time you have been brought to justice? Maybe it is because most of those complaints have been nothing but nonsensical claims from jealous loafers. Are you so convinced that Marat and Robespierre will protect you? I'm convinced that the law will protect me. Justice is on my side. What do you mean? The law is supposed to protect the innocent, and should be on the side of those who are wronged by. Spare us this speech. This is not a session of the National Convention. Did anyone understand that? Forgive me, my soul cries out for justice, so the statesmen you mentioned, Marat and Robespierre, will not have to deliver justice on my behalf. I've analyzed your ledgers and discovered that you have been violating legal price limits on a regular basis. Do you deny this accusation as well? These ledgers are kept by ordinary people who are prone to making mistakes. I will analyze them again and make proper amends. You're not at an administration office, Citizen Marchand. The ledgers in their current state are evidence for the court. Those are mere accounting errors, a zero and a decimal put in the wrong place by mistake. It can all be explained. After all, we are not all friends of France here. Citizen Robespierre has assured me that we are. Has Citizen Robespierre also assured you that you can get away with falsifying records? Of course not. So why did you mention him? Robespierre is the lackey of costermongers like him. Silence! So I will adjourn the proceedings. They brought the judge as well. Okay, here we are. It says here the revolutionaries want him gone, right? I want him acquitted. They want him a free man. So it's actually true that Robespierre is on his side. How badly would Robespierre hate me if I did this? Okay, it would put me quite a bit in the minus. Like, I need to be careful. At this point, they kill me. So I do need to be careful. However, he is guilty and he's blaming his employers, but you are responsible for what happens in your business. At least that's what I believe, and that's how modern law also works. And I think that's how it should work. And he's obviously just being this much of a dick because he's sure that Robespierre will protect him. But I think Robespierre won't protect him this time because it's my decision. So let's fill out this. Confirmed political. He's a Jacobin follower. What was the defendant's address? What's the fine? Is it? He paid them immediately. That is true. And how does the defendant explain his disregard for legal prices on his written mistakes? We found that he's trying to put it all on his employees, but you know, we all know he made them do it. So I'm sending him to prison. He's going to prison for what he's done. I sentence citizen Lucien Mangeon to prison. Lead the condemned out. Let's see how fresh he stays behind bars. I have friends in higher places. I'll be set free in a matter of days. You, on the other hand. Okay, we got everything correct here, obviously. I know how to read. And we probably just made a powerful enemy. We probably just pissed off Robespierre. That's probably not a good thing. We did go further down with the revolutionaries, which is also a problem. But the common folk like us quite a bit. They do like us quite a bit, if I may say so. Let's go next, see what happens. Due to the establishment of a revolutionary tribunal, we need to prepare an official stamp, I was told, to ask you, citizen, because President Devoyer is indisposed. How much did he drink? And why didn't I drink with him? I thought we're drinking buddies. He was not able to say, shall we? He was not able to say. Alright, let's see what we get here. Ooh, I like the leaf. I like the olive branch. Yeah, I think we're going with the olive branch. Or the base. Maybe like this. I don't know. That kind of makes it. Let's go like this instead. In the middle. Oops. In the middle. A cock. Ooh, a snake. That's a few good ones. There's a few good ones. I think we're gonna go with Justitia, though. I think we gotta go for Justitia. Or the revolutionary. No, we're going for Justitia. We are here for justice, right? Ooh, but then the wine also, it speaks to me. I don't know why, it does. On the bottom, let's give her, I don't know, maybe another olive branch. I like things being symmetrical. No, let's go for this, as if she was standing on it. How about that? Sure, that's our official seal. Thank you for your time. I know it's late. The stamp should be ready tomorrow. Good night. Really? You're gonna make a stamp by tomorrow out of my weird scribblings? How quickly do you work? We can work on the trial. Everyone will hate it. You will unlock more question effects in court. I think we don't need that right now. We already have a lot of questions. That does sound fun, but I think I want my people to like me a little bit more. Is it time for the grown men to talk? Okay, we know that. I think if we did this, he doesn't care. They go up. I get a bit of a baseline with him, so I could disregard him. He always needs to be positive, we learned, right? So I'd get a little bit of a baseline with him, so I can do something he doesn't necessarily like next time. I maybe even get him in the positive. She goes down a bit, but if I focus on those two, then next time that would go. So how about we play with the children? Also, why does our wife hate me? Why would our wife hate us if we spend time with the kids? Like, what kind of wife does that? You always go out with your people drinking. Your family needs you. Okay, I'm gonna spend time with the kids. How dare you spend time with your children? She's a bit of a bitch, isn't she? I'm like, what did I see in her? Okay, he's gonna make everyone like me a little bit more, I think. And it's day 5. I think we can get day 5 into this day as well, into this episode. So let's keep chugging along here. Tragically, we are losing control of the streets. People feel betrayed by the king, and some believe him to be a spy trying to evade justice. Special means are recommended when suppressing unrest. We only need an option from the judges to make sure we are working legally. Special means? In other words, you need their blessing to shoot at protesters. People can't control their emotions and are hurting other citizens as a result. Look at the windows. Next time they might do something worse than just throw rocks. Oh, they actually did throw rocks through the windows. It pains us to see unrest growing in the streets of Paris. Commander-in-Chief Burrell has informed us that the guard is no longer able to control the situation, though through peaceful means. It is recommended that he be allowed to use more immediate methods to protect the innocent civilians. But we would like to know the tribunals on the matter. Approve the National Guard's use of force against ruffians ruining the capital. That's a tough one. Are we talking about using force in self-defense here? Because obviously, like, if the guards get attacked, or if someone gets attacked, the guard needs to be able to use force to stop him, right? To protect other people, you need force. That's why our policemen nowadays, outside of Britain, do wear pistols. That's just kind of how it goes. So in that case, I would say we do need to allow them to use force, but I don't want government death squads walking through the streets. Like, I wish this was a little bit more precise as to what I'm allowing if I press accept. Like, we don't want people walking through the streets and go, hey, stole an apple. Like, that's not something we want, and we don't want anyone to go like, respect my authority, and just murder people. But it feels like it feels like to me, the way I'm reading this, that this is about actually protecting people with stuff. So I'm going to accept it. The guard is tasked with protecting innocents from those who are unable to control their behavior. Approve of greater freedom in use of National Guard. The authority should not use force against its people. If it has to, it has already lost. I do not approve of this. I think I'm going to approve it. This might be a big mistake. This might be a very big mistake. I bet the game's going to make me pay for this. Oh look, we're actually stamping it now. Wait, but you can't read you did it directly over the signature. No, you can't read the signature. Oh, it's not too late to stop this madness. That's an interesting euphemism for musket fire. I think, you know what? I think both answers will lead to our despair. I think there was something like where the game will punish us no matter what we choose. But we'll see afterwards. The more wanted to act as both judge and jury again and hang people from the street lands. Poor Pushar was almost hanged. Pushar, Claude Pushar? Exactly, the beloved tutor of your Frederick. You had to dismiss him after the incident with the oath of the clergy, did you not? Yes, Frederick tells me from time to time that he misses his teacher. What are you doing? The trial is about to start. It's about Monsieur Pushar. His travels fast. He's been accused of counter-revolutionary activities. You know him, it can't be true. It's not so simple. Leave before somebody hears this. Papa, please. Go home. Think about the family for once and last. I've been thinking about the family for the last 4 days, okay? I'm a good husband. I've been thinking about my family for more than half a week. God damn it. Papa. This Mathilda, I think you and me, we're gonna have a problem here. We're gonna have a problem, Mathilda. Alright, let's read up what we have. We still have the good relations with the youngest son. Nothing here. The revolutionaries hate us. We probably want to vote with them though. Our family wants the acquittal. The revolutionaries want prison, and the common people want him murdered. Okay. We're at -7 with the revolution. Okay, let's read up what happened. Combined by Nathaniel Desirev. Claude Pushar, a 26-year-old vicar and tutor, son of a cobbler, believes in Enlightenment ideas. After refusing to adjure the civil constitution of the clergy, he was removed from his parish, prohibited from carrying out his duties, and sentenced to banishment. Despite this, he stayed in Paris and continued his work as a tutor, which he started before 1789. Pushar was captured in the streets by fortuitous circumstances. A guard officer present during his trial a few months ago recognized him and didn't hesitate to act. Following an investigation, Pushar was accused of spying and spreading counter-revolutionary propaganda. In order to prepare a foreign intervention that would end the revolution, correspondence with Archbishop Jean-Arsène de Breteuil was found in a room Pushar had been renting from Marie Guimet. In it, the clergyman asked for information about the unrest and the supporters of the monarchy in hiding. Riches were also... I thought it was a French name. I'm sorry, guys. Riches were also found, a golden chalice and a reliquary. Moreover, the director of one of the orphanages, Claude, taught in of one of the orphanages Claude taught in, testified that the tutor would question the law of the revolution in front of the students, stating that it was less important than the laws handed down by God. Evidence is a letter to Claude Pichard. For those who don't understand this, that during the French Revolution, the revolutionaries really tried to get away from all religion. It's at some point they even got away from the normal calendar, because it's obviously like the calendar we use nowadays. They got also away. I think they introduced the 10-hour day, if I know correctly. Like, they tried to build a state on science rather than religion. So they tried to get rid of everything religious. So that is why something like this, like saying that God is more important than the law of the people, is considered counter-revolutionary. Alright, let's check out on these things. We have the parish priest, that is his personality. Banishment is cause of events. Tutor is personality. Espionage is the accusation. Spreading propaganda is the accusation. Spreading propaganda is also counter-revolution. The church riches are evidence, and a letter from the archbishop is evidence. Boom! No mistakes! No mistakes! Did you see that? Did you see that? I'm a little bit proud here. Please introduce yourself. Monsieur le Judge, you know me. State your personal information or there will be consequences. Claude Pichard, Monsieur le Judge. Is then accused of spying for the counter-revolutionaries and criticizing the existing order. Do you admit to these crimes? I am innocent. The accusation is exaggerated and comes from the ill will of the accusers. Suggesting that the revolutionary government is acting in ill will, typical of a priest. Why did the accused stay in France despite being banished? I had to take care of my sick mother. Without me, she would surely have died. Why did you not take her with you? Good, make the filth squirm. I was in no position to afford that. I am just a poor parish priest who is unable to even carry out his duties. I have to teach every single day to survive. Is that why you started spying? For the money? No, what information could I glean that would be useful to Emiraj? That of the supposed persecution of priests. The main argument the Archbishop de Prétu and Pio VI are using to convince Catholic monarchs to strike against the revolution. I do not correspond with émigrés, and I certainly do not write about the suffering of our clergymen. I would like to remind you that we have evidence. Away with the liar! The accused travels extensively around the Paris Depart. To what end? I teach wherever I can find students. Doing that requires time and effort, I admit. Is that why you receive gold from your fellow conspirators abroad? I travel around France to spy on people. The only money I see comes from my students' caregivers. It's not at all immodest. So where did the riches found in your room come from? They were liturgical accoutrements. Accoutrements? I have no idea how to pronounce this word, I'm sorry. I've saved them from the plunder of the church in Compiègne. I would rather go hungry than sell them. Fanatic! Thief! Peddler of superstition. What do you teach? The caregiver in orphanages only pay for reading and writing lessons. So why did you, the accused, teach children that God's law stands above that of the Republic? You spread superstition and counter-revolutionary propaganda. There's a misunderstanding. The children I teach are unable to understand such complicated matters. The accused's explanation further incriminates him. If they are unable to understand the topic, why would he even discuss it at all? The church spreads ignorance and takes our money. I was only answering questions from the director of the orphanage in Compiègne. I said that God's law stood above my banishment. It is God's law that prohibits me from leaving the country. I have a duty to help those in need. What information did the accused manage to convey to the archbishop? None, I have no connection with the archbishop. Why would he be interested in a parish priest? What about your letter? I have it in our files. You received instructions from the archbishop. Pope's dog! Yet the traitor! It's a simple letter, no instruction. It is not from the archbishop, but from my parish priest in Compiègne, Jean Saint-Coreteau. Or is now. I know only that he planned to leave for Switzerland. He may have changed his mind. That is why I never thought to respond to the letter. What a coincidence! Archbishop de Prétu currently resides in Switzerland. It is indeed a coincidence. Many clergymen reside in Switzerland. Who believes that? We have a witness. Actually, before we do that, this is the letter. Dear Claude, remember to stay strong in your faith and complete your duties with dignity. Tell me how your brother in faith are doing, as well as the church in these desperate times. May God protect you, Jean Arsène. Alright. That is actually quite straightforward. That is quite straightforward, I would say. Did you celebrate masses despite the ban? There are no churches where I could go to do that. Then what purpose do chalices and reliquary possess? Private religious practice. We are prohibited from administering sacraments. It is not sacrament, merely prayers. The declaration of the rights of the man and of the citizen allows me to pray. You should be familiar with the document. That is besides the point. By promoting superstition in a progressive country, you are spreading sedation. Okay, let's get the witness. What's your name, citizen? Marie Germain, monsieur le judge. Was the witness aware that she was renting a room to an unsworn Catholic? Or did the accused maintain extensive correspondence? This is against her, and that doesn't really matter. We're going to go for this. Did the accused maintain extensive correspondence? Meaning, did he receive many letters? I don't remember any letters with his name. Perhaps he had a rich social life? Did he entertain many guests? I don't remember anyone visiting him at all. He wasn't there most of the time anyway. He just used the room to sleep. Where would he go? I don't ask guests about things like that. Did he pay rent on time? Did he ever criticize the revolution? Once he said that instead of beheading, they could do something about economy and teaching that the children are hungry and, well, can't read or write. Did he ever question the law? Now that I think about it, maybe it did. One evening he complained that the law didn't work, that a smart person would send all the kids to school by force if need be. Priests lectured our nation for 1,000 years and nothing good came out of it. He's right. There was nothing more than hunger and disease. This is not looking good for you, man. Because if anything to say, just what I'm said, I only want a decent and universal education for the youngest. Is that really criticizing the revolution? One of its slogans is equality. That is a fair argument, and I'm absolutely with him on that. Like, everyone needs education. What stipends does the accused receive as a teacher? 2 francs a week, but most people give me food instead. Bread, butter, sometimes wine. Does it not bother you that poor people have to take food from their children to give it to you? Of course it bothers me, but I have to eat too. He gives gold under his bed and still takes food from the poor. We want an explanation. Where does the gold come from? Is it not from your fellow conspirators abroad? Of course not. It belongs to the parish in Compon, which is currently under my care. This gold is not my property. Why did the accused continue teaching instead of leaving France? My duty is to help others. If I am unable to help as a priest, I want to at least share some of my knowledge. Your knowledge is Catholic propaganda. I prefer the term Catholic values. Alright, we've answered everything. Let's see if we can do a report. Where were the traitors who was commanding with located? In Switzerland. When and where did the defendant corrupt the people of Paris? During forbidden masses? No. During reading and writing lessons in the orphanage? Yes. And how much did the defendant earn for? 2 francs. Here we go. Fidelity. Well, we kind of have to go anyway for this because both the jury thinks he should go to prison and the revolutionaries want it. Our family wants us to acquit him, but the thing is, I don't even think he's not guilty. Like by the this does seem quite questionable. This does seem quite questionable. And do keep in mind that something like this would be a big problem. It would arguably correct, but for the revolution, it still would be a big problem because more Catholic nations might rise up. Anyway, I think we have to send him to prison. I think we kind of have to. Just because both of them won, we don't want to screw up anymore with the revolutionaries if we can. If we don't have to. Our family's gonna hate us, especially our youngest son, and our young son hating us is a problem. But we are in decent standing with our young son. I think he'll forgive us if we don't throw him in prison. So if we don't let him go, so I think we're gonna throw him in prison. If we acquit it, oh my god, look at that. I can't do that. Look at how much they would hate that. We'd lose all standing with the people. Go for the death penalty. We'd actually be at risk of being removed from office. But would a reputation bonus? No. I think this is the only thing we can do. Get closer to the middle line. and then somehow make up with our little son. I think it's the only thing we can do from a gameplay point of view. And I think it's also kind of fair, like, he was banished and he stayed. Like, let's not pretend like he didn't break the law. So, I sent a citizen called Prashad to prison. Lead the condemned out. He saved that priest! He showed mercy to an enemy of the revolution. You ought to have him killed. I have nothing else to say. He ought to have been killed, I have nothing. But you're one of the revolutionaries, and the revolutionaries wanted him in prison as well, as did the jury. What the hell, man? Why are you stabbing me in the back here, huh? Why can't you have my back? Why do you have to be a dick about it? We did get all the answers, so that's positive. That's a problem. Again, our total went down 1 point. It's gonna take a while till we reach 0 if it always goes down 1 point, but that doesn't mean it's not gonna reach 0 eventually, because we always are 1 point down. You know what I mean? So that's gonna be a problem. And that's assuming we always vote with at least one of the sides. If we ever vote against both sides, that's an issue. Huh. That does not look good. That looks like looks like a problem. Traitor. Do we know him? I feel like I know him. I feel like I've seen that face before in the game, but I'm not sure. Oh no, oh, this is because we ordered the guard to shoot, right? Oh, frick.
Spewed out one word too many. The other fired a musket.
Oh, frick.
They fought for freedom.
Oh, frick.
Each for their own. That man. Hard to forget. He asked me if I'd seen his wife. He found his son. The freedom we borrowed from the wealthy and the noble. We believed it was worth the price. He was judged by people long devoid of their freedom. The only things they knew were dust and sweat and anger.
I still think that if the people actually turn into full-on revolution mode and stuff, allowing the police to shoot back is the right call. I think. Feel free, if anyone has chosen the other part, feel free to let me know in the comments how that turns out. I made a nice profit. There was a chance of prosperity. Why would the Renard family want to take over your shop, Grandpa? Well, profit and power is always the same, and it's no different in these times. Today is about equality, so that not only that aristocrats can live with dignity. Grow up, boy. I only saw the truth when they attempted to sentence my son, your uncle, to death. It suddenly dawned on me that the only thing that mattered were the power I never had and the connections I never cared for. You have to be righteous while the injustice spreads like a plague. You should not be sorry for that. I'm not, but I would rather your brother lived, so that I still had two sons. You had a brother, Daddy? Where is he? I died a long time ago, before you were born. Why did he die? You just heard, he was murdered. Do not talk so much while eating. Your uncle went to war and died in battle. Oh, actually he didn't? Your generation will soon realize the extent of the damage we inflict upon the world. In the past, decent people like Pashar never had to worry about courts or tribunals, but now... Do you even consider the possibility that Pashar was guilty? No, not Pashar. He was no guiltier than any of us, son. Keep an eye out on the Renards. Okay, so everyone hates me now because of my choice there, but I honestly don't think I could have set him free. I don't think there was a possibility. Interestingly enough, it was the little one whose tutor it was that didn't. That doesn't hate me now for what I did. So you sound upon the use of deadly force against progressive families, not at all keen on talking to you tonight. Really? Really? No one talks to me because I told the police they can shoot back if they're being attacked? Oh, wow. Everyone hates my guts. Oh, I should not have signed off on that. That is a bad combination because they basically all dropped twice now. They dropped because I didn't set the guy free, because I didn't quit push R, and because I signed off on the guns. Anyway, we're gonna have to make a cut here. It's the end of this episode because we are over 30 minutes, or even at 35. Oh, I went overtime. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'm gonna see you guys on the next episode. Have a good one, everybody. Bye bye.